It is MAAC Basketball Betting Central. I am your host, Justin Perri. Welcome to the show. First ever episode of this new segment, part of my brand new Break the Board daily show for my subscribers. But anytime there's MAAC basketball, we'll do MAAC Basketball Betting Central and talk a little bit about these teams in the Metro Atlantic. Really great bunch of low major teams, a group that I have always felt like I have an edge on, a bunch of teams that I've researched for a long time, just following along with. And I do personally believe those are the teams you have the best shot to be successful with. And who really pays attention to these teams, that's really going to give you the leg up. I personally am a huge fan of all of them: Niagara, Siena, Quinnipiac, Manhattan, Fairfield, St. Peters, Marist, Canisius, the Mount, Ryder, and then, of course, the champions, Iona, who did take home the tournament title last year. Of course, the departure of some big talent, Nelly Jr. Joseph, Dennis Jenkins. Fucking up. But you guys understand what I'm talking about. Rick Pitino went to St. John's. It is a wide open race here in the MAAC, and I think we're going to see some really great competition in this really fun, tight conference. Like, there is just not much separating the best teams. People think it's going to be Canisius, Niagara, Iona has a chance to do it again. Marist looks kind of sneaky to start the season off. But we're going to go through all of the games that we have here today. Bring them up right now. We got Quinnipiac's playing Canisius, -3.5 for Canisius at home. St. Peters is going to go to Niagara. Niagara's going to be favored by a bit. Iona's is the favored team, going to Fairfield by 5. You can sort of sense that they might be the favorite to win this conference. Fairfield kind of weaker, but Ryder, another team expected to be good, getting a little bit of a smaller line against Siena, who is looking for a big bounce back, getting healthy. We'll talk about that. The Mount is coming to Riverdale, which is just, 20 minutes from me. Hopefully be making it out to a few of those games this season, not today, but 3.5 points there as well. So we have some road favorites, which is really interesting, by more than a possession. So we'll get into each game. I have some cool stuff up here. Let me get back into the regular view, drop these games off the front, and we can get up and away. So first thing here is I'm going to bring up the ShotQualityBets board, just looking at only the MAAC. Of course, what else are we doing here? But yeah, so no real crazy value jumping off, pretty close to the market for the entire conference. Lean Quinnipiac, again on the road, lean Fairfield, lean Manhattan, Niagara, and Ryder. So no real sense favorites or underdogs. Looks like, I think the totals are pretty on market too from last time. Remember, if I move anything, it's going to mess up my view. But you can do the math. It's pretty straightforward. I really kind of agree, maybe mostly here, with Ryder and Niagara. I am definitely leaning favorites today in the MAAC. We're going to get into every single game, but I do have a couple plays out. I'm going to be on Canisius, and I'm going to be on Iona. I got a better line than 5 on Iona. Canisius 3.5, I think, is what I have. But we're going to record all of my takes for the spreads for every MAAC game starting here December 1st through the end of the season, and just see how good I am at handicapping. So we'll talk one by one. We'll write them all down, and then we'll come back and we'll reflect every single time there's MAACtion, which is often. So the next thing I have up here is Bart Torvik's site, with only looking at data from the 17th, so about the last 2 weeks or so. I like this as a look into how teams have been doing recently, to maybe get some public perception ideas. Canisius, you see the current line, which is what you would get with all the data present, and then the modified line is what I've done, which is to really remove out the first couple weeks, and of course priors. So based on that, Quinnipiac is expected to beat Canisius by a bit. Iona expected to do better. Mount St. Mary is expected to make this a really close game against Manhattan. Manhattan maybe playing a little bit better than people were expecting. Mount St. Mary's a little worse. And St. Peters, Niagara, looks like Niagara should run away with it. I don't really disagree. Again, I kind of like fading these moves. So, I have to really dig into St. Peters, Niagara. I have no idea about that game. I'm going to make my selection literally live. And this is going to be mostly live. You're going to see a lot of my process, a lot of thinking through it. If you don't think it's dumb, you can turn it off. It's fun, right? If you like it, I do this for the entire board, and you can join the Discord and subscribe and get this for any game you want, make requests. It's kind of fun. But yeah, Ryder Siena, really interesting one. Siena -5 based on recent play just underscores maybe how Ryder has looked in terms of efficiency metrics. But we're going to sort of combine all of this with shot quality data to underscore the expectations versus what the recent efficiency might look like. And that's where I think you can really find an edge in this market. And maybe I'm giving away too much secret sauce, but it also takes some knowing ball to really put it all together. And, our jury's still out if I still have that. But nonetheless, let's dive in. Quinnipiac, Canisius, we have the shot quality preview and the Torvik preview ready to go for you guys. So what I like to look at the Torvik one first. I like to see what jumps off the page in terms of, differences. Quinnipiac likes to take close twos, high percent field goal percent, and Canisius is allowing a lot of close twos to be made. Not that they'd like to take it. They're doing really well on the interior. This could be a little bit of a change coming here for Canisius. They might start to defend a little bit better. We can come in and look at the regression stats when Canisius is on defense here. My camera's in the way. But yeah, you can see finishing at the rim is actually going as expected. So a little maybe worrisome there. The offense for Quinnipiac isn't exactly great at going to the rim. You can see 300th and finishing at the rim shot quality, points per possession. No one really likes to go against, they're going at Quinnipiac underneath the hoop here. It's just both these teams, 48%, 46%. These teams are both gonna, funnel teams into the paint. Maybe, I guess it's probably because of the way Canisius is going to defend the three. They kind of chase you off the three-point line. You can see defensively the frequencies here for both three-point types, the catch and shoot, and the off the dribble is somewhere. There it is. Yeah, so 250th and 275th for Canisius defense. They do not really allow opponents to take threes, but you can see the rim and three rate is kind of going to still be not great because they allow opponents to the rim too much. So it's going to be a really interesting battle. I tend to think that, the home court is a little bit of a big deal here. You're traveling. This is one of the worst travel spots. It's not dead winter, so Quinnipiac may be getting a little bit of a pass doing this early December, but of course going up to Buffalo, it's never fun. It's a long bus ride. Canisius kind of takes advantage of that. So I like to think that, the 3.5 is just not enough. I'm expecting this a little bit closer to 6 or 7. Quinnipiac would really need to hit their shots. I went to the wrong direction. Quinnipiac's really going to need to hit their shots from 3. We can see they have been doing that. 36 of 97 on the season, not taking a lot of them. But, the defense here for Canisius is a little bit more stout. And again, green here showing that they don't let you take a lot of them. So going to be interesting to see how Quinnipiac does against this Canisius defense. You can see some of the players here, pretty similar depth. Quinnipiac probably not using the end of the bench maybe as much as we're seeing from Canisius, a little bit more of an even minutes spread. But again, the Quinnipiac players may be starting off a little hotter in terms of their offensive ratings, and their shooting percentages definitely look a little bit greener here. But it looks like it's going to be very interesting in terms of the rebounding. Quinnipiac cleans up these defensive rebounds a little bit better, and honestly pretty good on the offensive rebounding. But again, that could be very determinant on who they've played. Always good to sort of check this out. This is not much of competition for Quinnipiac. So this kind of hammers home what I'm feeling with Canisius. This is arguably, besides the blowout loss at Massachusetts, they really haven't played much. And a close game versus Albany. We can even check in on the shot quality stats for this as well, just to sort of make sure we're not missing anything on Quinnipiac on these games. Make sure you switch to 2024 right now because we're still getting a lot of 2023 data is important. So we'll have that switched over soon. But yeah, again, expected to lose to Albany. Maybe the MAAC game was a little bit too big, but even the Stonehill game was expected to be much closer. So I'm feeling pretty good about Canisius. We can jump into Canisius's page here, make sure nothing really is sketchy about their wins. Wofford on a neutral, I'm kind of okay with that. A close game's good. They just got the lucky result. I did not mean to do that. But yeah, I mean, Bonaventure, a good win on the road. I'm not early season. I'm a little wishy-washy on it at this point. I like the win against Western Kentucky. I think they played well against Bowling Green. This is MAAC played. I think, we can look at the Torvik numbers for them too. I think they've probably played a little bit of a tougher schedule here. Not by much, but, Bonaventure, Syracuse, Cleveland State. Yeah, you know what? By much. They've played some good mid-majors. Syracuse team that's pretty strong. Judah Mintz is no joke. We saw against LSU in the ACC SEC Challenge. So and they covered in that game. So yeah, I like Canisius. I think they're going to turn out to be the better team this season. And you're giving me essentially a home court advantage, assuming they're neutral, even neutral. I don't know if I agree. So yeah, first bet of the segment, first bet on MAAC Basketball Betting Central. Got to bring up the graphic. Is going to be the -3.5 for Canisius. So that's that. We can bring up the spreads if you want to see them. I know you can't really see them when the graphics up, but next game is going to be St. Peters versus Niagara. Let's see how this one goes. This is the one I think I have the least idea about. Absolutely the least. So let's jump in. ShotQuality is going to like Niagara at home. Interesting. The adjusted shot quality for Niagara's offense is 358, man. I can't back that. I mean, that just kind of off the jump is going to make me say I want St. Peters. I think the defense will travel. The defensive unit for St. Peters is probably going to be the best side of basketball on the floor tonight. Out of the offense, defense for both teams. Yeah, the spacing for Niagara is third percentile. I mean, you're talking the free throw rate is bottom 60. I'm over here in the key stats. Bad open three rate on defense. St. Peters is gonna kind of clog you up. They're a pretty good defensive unit. The offense is actually expected to sort of regress from mid-range at the rim. 3 for Niagara. You don't really like to see that. Post up, is a little bit here or there, but I don't really, handicap games based on post-up moves. Probably decently fair. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm leaking, but come on. Catch and shoot threes. They don't really let you take a lot. Not like they're doing great at it, but defending, finishing at the rim. This is big. Niagara tries to the rim at 40% of their possessions. St. Peters defends it 37th best in the nation. It's going to be hard. I like the St. Peters defense. They're good at defending these post-ups. Not that they're doing that much. I like to look at the defense here. So Niagara's going to try to get in transition. St. Peters is going to defend it pretty well. Don't let teams get in transition a lot. Probably have a pretty decent turnover rate. If I can find it somewhere here. Oh, it's in the middle. Is it? Not here. Hello? We have to go to the team page. That's not great. But yeah, no, we can check out who St. Peters has played. A lot of losses that were expected to be wins. Expected to beat Fairleigh Dickinson. Expected to beat UMass Lowell. Game against Rutgers wasn't supposed to be such a blowout. Believe the line was right at 15, so they played to expectations. Maybe just got a little unlucky, but limited Rutgers to less than expected. I don't hate that. NJIT win was legit. This is what I like to see. I like when the teams I'm betting on have more shot quality wins than they do regular wins. And look, Niagara traded on Hawaii, expected to beat Hawaii, but that's a tough road spot. This probably was never going to perform up to expectations. And then was expected to lose the SFPA, man. That's a little jarring. So yeah, I think I'm flip-flopping. I think at the beginning I said Niagara, but St. Peters is going to be the play for game number 2. See if there's anything alarming that make me scared. I know the St. Peters offense is bad, but look at this offensive rebounding compared to what Niagara is going to do. They literally are doubling their rate more. So I think that defensive rebounding too here for St. Peters, they're going to win the boards. I think that's something that travels. They are going to Niagara, difficult spot like Quinnipiac, but Yeah, I don't know. You're gonna need this. Look at this. Niagara's sitting here with an insane 3-point defensive and offensive rate. That's just not gonna stick. I feel like St. Peter's could be due to see their shooting percentage, their effective field goal percentage go up, and Niagara's probably due to see it go down. So I'll fade Niagara. I also look, they have a lot less depth. A couple of these guys, 15%, 26%, 27%, barely seeing the floor. So you're running a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-man. It's going to feel like a 6-man rotation mostly, maybe 7-man effectively. But I mean, St. Peter's is going to rotate guys 60, 30, 30, 30, 55, 20, 70. Like they are going to play matchups. They're going to probably just try to, play some tough physical defense. This is going to be a great game. This is the MAAC game of the night. Stamp it. This is going to be awesome. So, yeah, let's go with St. Peter's and let's see what the next matchup is. It's going to be Iona Fairfield. So this is another one that I already had a bet on. It's going to be Iona. And I said I got a better line. I think I played 3.5. Probably wouldn't go chasing 5. I think it's probably a fool's errand. But let's see what we got here for the next one. So shot quality is going to say this is going to be pretty close. 2 points. So shot quality would almost have Fairfield here at 5, but a little far. Regression looks like, defensive regression is coming in for progression. I don't even know what regression can be, positive or negative, such a nuanced term in basketball analysis. But yeah, I'm not seeing anything that's really jumping off the page here to me. I do think Iona is the more complete team. High ISO percentage, probably not great for Fairfield. Let's see what else they do a lot. They run a lot of off-screen action that could be interesting. It's not like that is something that Iona has seen or defended well. The off the dribble threes look like it could be a main point here, and so will the mid range. You don't really want a high mid range percent, but that's the identity of teams that can't find valuable shots. They take high percents of mid range. So, I'm guessing that the shot selection up here probably isn't going to be great. Yeah, they're 302nd in the nation at selecting good shots. Iona's defense isn't exactly making people take bad shots, but the shot making is bad for Fairfield. The free throw rate, they don't even look like they're going to be able to take advantage of how much Iona has sent opponents to the line. Bad open 3 rate. It's going to be like, who wants it on this side of the ball? Like when Fairfield has the ball, it's going to be like, which side's worse? Rock fight. But the other way going around is honestly pretty interesting. The adjusted shot quality isn't great for Iona's offense, but they should still, be the better team here just in terms of how they're going to attack. I'm not really impressed with how Fairfield defends the rim. Iona's going to go right at them. That's going to be the game. It's not like they're great at it, 327th, but they're not going to, this might be the easiest time they ever have going to the rim so far in their season. I don't actually know who they've played. But yeah, I mean, you can see on these Torvik numbers, Fairfield, not really great. Both teams going to rebound well defensively. This is going to be a tough one. This is going to be an ugly game. I would not be shocked this is an ugly game, but like Fairfield not getting high game scores, really, only able to sort of hang with one D2 team. Everything else has been pretty gross. Yeah, I mean, they opened up the season a little hot from 3. They've gone cold. They've hit 16 threes on over 64 tries in their last 3 games against decent opponents. And Iona, is probably going to look like that Rhode Island game. Is probably going to look like that Drexel game. I know it's at home, but the New Hampshire team that really can't shoot threes, shot pretty terribly, still was able to do it. They limited free throw rates. They shot pretty well, actually, which is exactly my point. I'm literally trying to stare through my camera. It's really hard. I mean, New Hampshire came in and shot a 60% effective field goal percentage. How are you going to trust this defense? You're not. You're just not. Iona should be able to get this done. 5's probably a little big. But, crushed Buffalo, coming off of a bad game versus Marist, opening up with a loss on Wednesday, the actual first game. So I missed one. I'm sorry. But yeah, no, I think this is a bounce back spot for for Iona with Fairfield, they're just not going to be contenders. And you can see they shot 2 of 14 from deep in their last game. So that's probably going to pick up a little. I would imagine they should make a couple more threes. It was their worst 3-point shooting game of the season. So yeah, let's go with Iona. I'm going to rock with my line. It's only really fair, but I would probably still say take -5. Hopefully we don't land at 4 and I have a win and you have a loss, but it's the game we play. Bet at your own risk. Of course, and your own liability, and don't over bet, and make sure everything's within your own financial means, and call the number if you need help. There's no shame. Ryder, Siena. So Siena got Ely and Tekken back, and I lost a lot of money because I bet them -1. It closed -3.5, and they still looked like absolute crap. They still look like they're turning the ball over too much, and I think they moved down to being like one of the bottom 4 teams in KenPom. And these are disgusting game scores. Like, to have game scores under 10 for 4 out of your 6 games of the year. Shameful how bad this effective field goal percentage is. Shameful that only one game under 25% turnover rate. Maybe I'm mad because I lost money. Anyway, Ryder, on the other hand, is one of these teams where they're just massively underperforming, especially like from 3. And maybe they kind of had it. Oh, that was last year. That's last year. Dumb Justin. I've made mistakes and re-recorded the episode after 10 minutes. I'm not doing that again. That was just a mistake. You just got to live with it. All right. Yeah, man. They are getting 0.85 points per possession. They are expected 1.01. So that means every 10 possessions, they get 8.5 points. They should be getting 10 points. So, a 70 possession game, 1.5 points more per 10 possessions. You're very easily talking about 10 points more per game that they're expected to be scoring. They're shooting 22% from deep. They should be shooting 33%. It's a great buy spot for Ryder against the Siena team that can't seem to stop turning the ball over. It's really bad. 359th in adjusted shot quality. Loss. No redemption on these shot quality scores. Maybe a little, but not much. No redemption on regression. Maybe a little, but not much. An over, maybe. Both these teams going to just start lighting it up. I mean, this is at Siena's gym, but I don't know if they're going to have fans out. I mean, it doesn't feel like the school cares about their basketball program. I'm going Ryder. I think it's definitely the right move to expect a team like them, who's expected, to win this conference, to bounce back. This is a lot of red. It's a lot of red. One of the lowest effective field goal percentages in D1. Literally, Siena's is better, but they're allowing such a high effective field goal percentage. This is the most beautiful get right spot. Yeah, give me Ryder. We'll take Ryder. Let me make sure I know what the line is. Last time I checked before I started. So yeah, -3.5, I think, is the play. All right. Dude, it's so dark. I thought it was like 6 p.m. and I had to get this video out right now. We have like 3 hours till everything kicks off. Last game of the night. Only 5 games. It's going to take us about half an hour to go through 5 games. I'm into it. That's a good episode. The Mount. The Manhattan Jaspers. Like I said, this one at Dratty. Great stadium name. About 20 minutes from me. Thought about going up. I'll make it out to some MAAC games. If you want to go to a MAAC game, hit me up. Tickets on me because they're like $10. And I'll literally pay for you to go to a game. I don't care. Anyone who loves the MAAC, instant friend. All right. Shot quality. Boom. Mount St. Mary's expected to win by 2. Lines up. The Mount is gonna. I don't know. kind of lean Manhattan. I hate saying it, but unlucky, lucky. Was it the other way around? I should probably know. I can check. I had to like do the math because it's theoretically arbitrary. We're in like the 25th minute, so anyone here is hanging out. And this is still 2023. But yeah, like again, yeah. So okay, it was the other way around. I'm dumb. Hand up. Made a mistake. Yeah. So Jaspers are getting lucky. Interesting. They were not expected to win that Central Connecticut game. They were, expected to lose big here. Expected to maybe not lose as big to Connecticut, but it's Connecticut. This team's played Connecticut and Kansas. That's pretty crazy. I don't know, man. You can get 60 points on Connecticut. I can't believe they lost to Connecticut the same score as Fordham. It's wild. I don't know, man. They played some decent teams here. This is probably like a nice spot for them to win this game against a Mount St. Mary's team that just doesn't look great. Expected loss to Coppin State, guys. I'm a Coppin hater. I lost money on them last night, but I'm a Coppin hater. They're really good in transition, but they don't run it. All their play types, low end. All their shot types, like, okay, some nice shot types. Just not going to defend anything except these off-the-dribble threes. They don't even defend them well. They defend the catch and shoot well, but teams take a lot against them. So this one's tough. Probably a really good line. Manhattan doesn't get to the free throw line enough. Mount St. Mary's is forcing a lot of turnovers. Manhattan turns the ball over a lot. That could be the Achilles here. Mount St. Mary's is going to rebound well on offense. Manhattan is, not exactly the best offensive rebounding team, but this is open for anyone. I think it's probably Mount St. Mary's. But the home dog is just tough, Like, I feel like, did Mount St. Mary's do well last year? Like, they all play the same thing every damn season. Interesting. This is a beautiful graph. They start like MAAC play, like right here, right? So there's the two games. They went away. They beat St. Peter's, who was pretty bad, and they were 228. They were better last year. Lost to Ryder. Yeah, they're worse this year. Oh no, they're better. Let's go with Mount St. Mary, because Manhattan just scares me. The effective field goal percent defense is just tough. They're sliding. One good game to open the season against Bryant. Probably caught Bryant sleeping. Bryant's up and down. Yeah. All right. Mount St. Mary's. So I think we went Canisius. We went St. Peter's, Iona, Ryder, and Mount St. Mary's. So only took one dog, and it was the short dog, which lines up with what I said at the beginning of the episode. I think it's the favorites tonight in the MAAC. This has been a cool 30. I really appreciate you guys hanging. We're going to do this tomorrow or whenever the next MAAC day is. Whenever these guys have games, I should probably know. But yeah, I think you'll see me again Sunday, technically. So that's when the MAAC's going to play. So we'll have another episode up on Sunday. Should be a lot of fun. Shoot some questions. I'll drop the Discord link. I'm going to go to the park and film a dark episode of Park Walk Picks. That'll be up. Might be one of these, might not. Who knows? Tune in. Appreciate y'all. This has been the first ever episode of MAAC Basketball Betting Central, the only destination for your MAAC basketball betting needs. I'll see you next time. Thanks for tuning in.